Yo, guys, it's your boy Adam. So, the news just broke about LeBron James. This is about 2 hours after we recorded the rest of this podcast. So, we'll go more in depth on LeBron's move to LA in our next podcast. But this is a lit podcast, so stay tuned, and we'll catch you later. Adios. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Offer on the Table. Once again, I'm Adam, and with me here is...
I'm John.
All right, let's get it started. So here's the rundown of how this show is going to work. Every episode we get a few topics that are current in the NBA. Those will be our topics of discussion for the day. All right, for today we got the NBA award show and free agency, the beginning. All right, so starting off with the award show, talk about some notable snubs, some interesting comments, and debating the winners and losers. So starting off with some notable snubs. John, who you got?
Two. I have two snubs. Donovan Mitchell and LeBron James. And I'll tell you why in a second. Donovan Mitchell, I'll tell you why LeBron James. LeBron James is kind of questionable, but Donovan Mitchell, I think a lot of people thought he should have won over Ben Simmons. We talked about this in our last episode, actually, how Ben Simmons shouldn't really be counted as a rookie. But Donovan Mitchell really had a crazy rookie year, and I think he may even had a better season, regardless of being a rookie or not, better season in general than Ben Simmons. Wouldn't you agree, Adam?
I would definitely agree. I think Donovan Mitchell, in terms of Rookie of the Year in my book, is kind of like a smaller version of MVP. And in terms of an MVP, Donovan Mitchell's my guy. Yeah, Ben Simmons, good year, good stats, definitely carried his team. You hear the talks that he's untouchable. No, the Sixers do not want to get rid of him. They like him. I agree, good player. Rookie of the Year, though, no. One, not a rookie. And two, Donovan Mitchell just did it all for the Jazz. You look at Donovan Mitchell's production, not only in the regular season as a rookie, stepping up on a team that's coming off losing your superstar for years in Gordon Hayward. He's able to step in, fill that role, and just do so much for the team. A guy averaging over 20 a game as a rookie, that's almost unheard of. And I think that everything he did for the Jazz and leading them to the playoffs, then keeping them in the series against the Thunder, ultimately outdueling Russell Westbrook, in the playoffs, getting them to face the Rockets, that means a lot more to me than what we saw from Ben Simmons where he had 3 points or 1 point and I don't even know how many shots. I think overall Donovan Mitchell is just worlds above as a rookie than Ben Simmons.
And I also think Donovan Mitchell can do a lot more than Ben Simmons. Like, Ben Simmons can dribble and he can drive inside, but Donovan Mitchell can shoot, drive inside, dribble. So I really think that Donovan Mitchell did have an overall better year than Ben Simmons. But moving on to LeBron, do you also see him as a snub?
I gotta say, I see both sides of the argument. I see, yes, in terms of MVP, Harden got robbed last year. He was definitely a strong contender. They gave it to Westbrook. Westbrook put up insane numbers this year too. Possible, you could make the argument. I don't think so. But in terms of LeBron James' snub, I think that there really are just two ways of thinking about it. There is the idea of who was the most valuable player, and which I think is kind of underlooked in today's MVP voting. You know, you look back, most MVPs, in air quotes, are the best player on a top 3 team in the league. And James Harden, without a doubt, best player on the Rockets, who were the number 1 team in the league, arguably. Well, regular season they were. So, yes, I see the argument for Harden. I agree with it. I think that he deserved it. But if you're talking about the most valuable player in the NBA...
You're talking about the best player in the league, period. I don't think Russell Westbrook is better than LeBron James. I don't think James Harden is better than LeBron James. I think LeBron James is consistently, in the last 10 years at least, or last 8 years, let's say, is the best player in the NBA. Best player.
That's what I'm saying. I think that, the MVP of what it's turned into, best player on the best team. And right now, Harden was the best player on the best team. But that the underlooked is, overlooked. The overlooked part of that is who is the best player in the NBA. But, that being said, I don't think the NBA wants to give LeBron James 8 straight MVPs. That's good for nobody. So the ability to give it to Curry, give it to Harden, give it to Durant, give it to Westbrook, give it to anybody else. I think that's beneficial towards the NBA, and I think that's why they do it. But I definitely think LeBron James put up some of the best numbers of his career. I think he was the best player in the NBA this year. So, yes, he's an MVP, but I agree with the MVP going to Harden.
I see what you're saying, but the NBA is looking more at story, at a player's story. Like, you see Russell Westbrook getting, because he had a triple-double season, hasn't been done since, the 40s with Oscar Robertson? Is that when he played?
50s or 60s.
50s or 60s, okay. So, it's been an extremely long time since something like that happened. So, yes, James Harden also, going from a bench player, sixth man to MVP, that's also, really, that's a good story. That's a good storyline. But I think it's unfortunate that being the MVP is not about being the best player in the NBA. I think that the MVP is solely that, and it should be that, but it's going more towards who has a better story, and I think that's unfortunate.
All right, we'll kind of touch on that. We touched on this a little bit, the different ways people can think about MVP. Kyrie Irving issuing a statement 2 days after the MVP saying that James Harden was the people's MVP and that LeBron James was the league MVP. You kind of touched on this saying LeBron was your guy. Do you agree with Kyrie? Do you agree with what he's saying? Do you follow his logic? What are your thoughts?
100% with Kyrie Irving. I think that Harden really was, like I'm saying, the people's MVP. He had a story. LeBron James already has 4 MVPs. There's no story there. He brought a bad team to the finals, but that's
not just bad. Let's be honest. That team was not good.
Right. So I think that his story, if it wasn't about story, LeBron would need more than just one shelf for just his MVPs. He would have at least, I think, 8, 10 even. I think that he really has been the best player in the league for a long time, and you're just not going to get that type of recognition. And I've heard a lot of sportscasters and other people on with personalities on TV that they've said that LeBron James is the best player in the world, and I think that's what it means to be the MVP. And Harden, I don't want to take any respect away from Harden. I have ample respect for him. I just don't think that he is the best player in the world. And I think as a business, the NBA has to give it to someone who's not just one player. It helps with sales.
Yeah, I think there's not only that, but there is the motivation. It's history, they say history repeats itself, and it's very true. You look back at the past 15 years, every year, I think, except for 1 year, the MVP has gone to a top player on one of the top 3 teams in the league standings. And the Cavaliers weren't even top 3 in their conference, let alone top 3 in the league. So, yes, you make the argument LeBron James, best player in the world. He has been for a while, probably will be for a couple more years, but you can't, in my book, I don't think you can consistently give it to the best player because that, you can make the same argument for Michael Jordan. How many MVPs would Michael Jordan have if he kept playing? Would he have 10? Wilt Chamberlain, how many MVPs would he have? It's a different kind of argument, I think, if you make the case for what you're saying. I do agree with the LeBron potential as MVP, but I like that they gave it to Harden. I understand the story, but I also disagree with that because I think there's more than just a story to the game. I think you need to have a winning team, and you need to be a top player on that team.
Wait, how many MVPs does Michael Jordan have?
I think 5, no? I don't know.
5? Oh. LeBron better have a good-ass story next year because he needs to catch up if he's chasing the ghost,
All right, we'll move on a little bit from the before we get into Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. and talk about the rest of the awards rather than just MVP. Well, actually, you know what? Let's start there.
Let's see what's the. I think it's fair to judge whether it's the right choice or not on each award.
Okay.
We'll be reading them off, and then we'll have our opinions on it. Quick opinions.
All right. Well, then let's start there. MVP. Do you think Harden deserved it? Had an incredible year. Obviously, led the Rockets to the Western Conference Finals.
Considering that it is story-based, yes, Harden deserved it.
Okay. We already talked a little bit about Donovan Mitchell versus Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year. Did he deserve it?
No. Ben Simmons is. We talked about this in our last episode. If you haven't listened to that, check that out. It's about the draft and about free agency. Anyway, Ben Simmons, I don't think is an MVP or a Rookie of the Year because he has been in the league and he's already made that transition. Maybe he hasn't played, but he's made that transition from college to basketball, and that's a big step. And what's his name? Donovan Mitchell. He just made that. He came from Louisville, and now he's playing in the NBA. And he hasn't had much time to adjust. It was the draft, then he went straight to work in the NBA. Ben Simmons. I mean, I don't want to like berate him, but he had some time to relax. He was coming off an injury, but he saw how things are run here in the NBA. So I think it was Donovan Mitchell who is deserving of the Rookie of the Year.
It kind of gets me a little bit, gets me going. Ben Simmons, yes, is not a rookie. He got injured. But that's what kind of bugs me, is that you're disregarding an entire year just because he got injured. But he attended practice. He went to film room. He was with NBA teammates.
I'm not saying that.
Well, hold on. And he was healed, essentially, as a part of the team. So I agree with you. I don't think that you can count him as a rookie, as a member of the team. I mean, you're looking. He went to He went to team doctors. He went team surgeons. Team everything. It was a team rebuild of him. So to consider him a rookie is just it triggers me, because he's not a rookie. He's been with the team. That's like saying you get like a head coach who's been with the team for years as an assistant coach. Just starts as a head coach, and automatically he's changing the way everything goes. Like, they've already been a part of the franchise to the point where I don't think you can consider that. I don't think you can disregard that presence. It's
his first year playing in the NBA, but it's not just being in the NBA. Isn't just playing. It's being with the other players, making that transition to being around really, really talented other guys. And getting that treatment with the doctors, like you said. So yeah, not Rookie of the Year in my opinion.
The definition of a rookie that came up big. It's a member of an athletic team in his or her first full season in that sport. And yes, he didn't play in his first season, but he was there and a member of the team for his first season.
That counts.
Exactly, that counts in my book. All right, moving on from Rookie of the Year, Victor Oladipo. Most improved player. Do you agree with that?
Yes, and yes.
Care to elaborate?
You sent me this meme on Instagram when he got traded, that the Indiana Pacers traded Paul George for a half bag of potato chips.
And an empty can of soda.
And an empty can of soda.
Yep.
And you know what? Sabonis also had a good year. He really had like a good year with the Indiana Pacers. But Victor Oladipo, holy crap. It took the Cleveland Cavaliers to 7 games, led by LeBron. Victor Oladipo making an all-star appearance. Victor Oladipo had like 5 minutes in last year's playoff series with the Thunder. 5 minutes a game. And now he's an all-star. He made a like relatively deep run for the playoffs in the Indiana Pacers standards in the last couple of years. They made the playoffs. I remember 2013 or 2012. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but they haven't been pretty good since then. And people thought that they wouldn't be as good as they had Paul George, but I think they got even better. I think they got better as a team.
Yeah, Victor Oladipo, definitely an incredible year. He